Dear students, today we are going to start one more new chapter of class 11th chemistry, that is chapter 4, chemical bonding and molecular structure. Students, this is very important chapter. You will be getting questions, 2 or 3 questions related to this chapter in your competitive exam, that is for NEET, that is for JEE, and also for your home board exam, means in your class 11th exam. Okay, so it is a very important chapter and it will help you to understand chemistry more. Okay, so kindly please focus whatever the thing we are going to discuss now. Before starting the chapter, we have to know what you mean by chemical bonding. As we know that here everything, there are many atoms present in our surrounding, many elements are there. These elements, different elements, they are having different tendency to exist. Many of the atoms are there which can exist freely, free of the atom cannot exist freely, they only exist in the form of molecules. Okay, few of the elements, they do not react, they are inert in nature, that's why they are highly stable, and that's why they simply exist in the form of atom. So here, on the basis of uh, existence of these molecule or these atoms, they are going to combine with one another. This combination is called to be as chemical bonding. Okay, so here I will define chemical bond as the force of attraction which holds various constituent particles or atoms in different chemical species is called to be as chemical bond. Okay, we know that atoms are usually not capable of free existence, but they can exist as group of atoms of the same or different element, exist as one species. If we are having the combination of same atom, then it will form molecule, like we can take example of H2, O2, P4. Here we are having atoms of same element, but if we are having combination of different elements, atoms of different element, then it is called to be as compound. Okay, so a group of atom existing together as one species and having characteristics property is called to be as molecule. And the force of attraction which is present between these atoms is called to be as chemical bond. These chemical bond may be of different types. So whenever we are talking about the chemical bond, here some questions arises that why do atom combine, why are only certain combinations possible. It means that here, if whenever we are talking about any type of molecule, we may see like hydrogen always exists in the form of diatom, oxygen it exists in the form of di or tri both, but it do not form O4. Okay, nitrogen it exists as N2 not as N3, hydrogen it always exists as H2 not as H3. So why does it happen, why they always combine in a particular ratio, why they do not form any type of combination, why any type of combination is not possible. Okay, so these are the questions that we are slowly one by one I am going to give answer of all these questions whichever is given here. Why do some atoms combine while certain atoms do not? Like two hydrogen atom to form H2, but two helium atom do not combine to form He2. Why does it happen? Why only hydrogen? Why hydrogen have the ability to combine, but helium do not? Okay, next question, that why do molecule possess definite shape? Like whenever we are talking about CO2, it form linear, whereas when we talk about H2O, it form bent structure. It has V shape, though they both are having same type of formula. Okay, like if we are talking about BF3 or if we are talking about NH3, here we have BF3 and NH3 both are having same type of formula, but whenever we are seeing the structure of these one, we found BF3 it is having planar and NH3 it is having pyramidal structure. So why does it happens? Why these type of things is going to take place? So here to give answer of all these things, we have many scientists came forward with their new theories, different theories they just put forward from time to time, and all the theories were not accepted, but here we have few of the theories that is accepted, and that was given by Cosell-Lewis, which is called as Cosell-Lewis approaches. Yeah, one more theory that is called as VSEPR theory, which is valence bond electron pair repulsion theory. Here we also have valence bond theory, that is VBT in short, and molecular orbital theory, that is MOT. These all things we will be discussing in this chapter only, but one by one. Okay. So before that we need to know about the modes of chemical combination. Means though chemical combination takes place, but all the combination is not same. Here we have different type of chemical combination takes place. So what are the type of chemical combination that we need to know first? First, that by complete transfer of one or more electron from one atom to another, that is formation of such type of bond is called to be as electrovalent or ionic bond. We know that these things you have studied in your class 10th about the covalent bond and about electrovalent or ionic bond. So electrovalent bond is formed whenever complete transfer of electron takes place. Like if we are talking about sodium and chlorine combine with each other and formation of compound takes place. Okay, and here the bond is going to form is called to be as ionic bond. Why it is called as ionic bond? Because sodium is going to transfer its electron completely. Now sodium do not have any right on this after transferring the electron. That's why sodium is going to have one positive charge. Okay, and chlorine is going to gain one electron. Because of that only chlorine is going to have one negative charge and chlorine become an ion. So whenever the bond is formed in between the ions, that is in between cation and anion, that's why it is called to be as ionic bond. Okay, second we have covalent bond. So covalent bond is formed only between non-metals. Okay, like we have ionic bond is formed between metal and non-metal, but covalent bond is formed between non-metals only, because non-metals they are the acceptor of electron. Either they can accept the electron from someone, but we are not able to take out the electron from non-metals for the formation of bond. Okay, so here it means we can, it depends on the electronegativity, but whenever the sharing of electron takes place between two atoms, if two atoms need to combine with one another but they both are having less number of electron, so here they are going to share their electron. This sharing of electron and formation of bond is called to be as covalent bond. Here in this class you people are going to introduce about one more type of bond, that is called to be as coordinate bond. So what do you mean by coordinate bond? So it is a type of bond when these electrons are contributed entirely by one of the atom but shared by both. Okay, the bond formed is known as coordinate bond. Here you can take example like if we are talking about hydronium ion, H3O plus hydronium. We have seen structure of H2O in which we are having two hydrogen, one oxygen. We know that oxygen is able to make double bond. That's why oxygen is going to make one bond with one hydrogen, another bond with another hydrogen. But after making bond, oxygen still have four electron which is not participating in the formation of bond. You just imagine the structure, because here I am not able to draw the structure in this video. That's why you just imagine that oxygen is making bond with two hydrogen, because 8 electrons should be present there. 4 electron is busy in making bond with the hydrogen, and 4 electron is vacant or empty for the oxygen. So this electron someone need, if some other hydrogen H plus ion comes and it need hydrogen for making bond, so oxygen is able to donate this electron to hydrogen. But this oxygen is not benefited from the hydrogen, because hydrogen do not have anything to give to oxygen, but oxygen is going to give its electron for the benefit of hydrogen. So this is shared by both, but the benefit of this sharing is only to the hydrogen. This type of bond is called to be as coordinate bond. In case of covalent bond, both are benefited, both the atoms are benefited, but here in case of coordinate bond, sharing is done in between both, but only one is going to benefit. If oxygen is not going to make bond or not donate their electron to the third hydrogen, then it do not affect oxygen. Then also oxygen is going to give its electron to one more hydrogen only for the beneficial of hydrogen, that hydrogen becomes stable. Okay, so this type of sharing is called to be as coordinate bond, in which only one get benefited but shared by both. These are the mode of chemical combination. Now here, uh, why do atom combines? Here the answer of this one is given by one scientist, that is called to be as Cosel Lewis. Cosel and Lewis, they are two different scientists. They put forward their theories, and on the basis of their theories, actually they were tried many times, but their theories were not successful. But finally they succeed in giving a satisfactory explanation on the octet rule. So what is octet rule? So here in case of octet rule, he said that, or they said that, all the elements, they all the atoms of the element, they are having ability to attain noble gas configuration by showing their number of outermost shell, or means if you are knowing about the electronic configuration, here we know that the electron which is present in the outermost shell, only they are going to take part in the reaction. Okay, the innermost are already stable, that's why they do not take part in the reaction. So those which are present in the outermost, they are going to take part in the reaction for the completion of their octet. Okay, that's why it is called to be as octet rule. Like in studies it is proved that the element which are having completely filled octet, like group inert gases, here we have helium which has the electronic configuration 2. For neon we have 28, it is also complete. Argon, it is 288, it is complete. It means all the noble gas, they have the completely filled combination or configuration. That's why here it do not take part in the reaction. That's why it do not form any type of molecule. So here it is explained that for the completion of their octet, atoms of any element is going to combine in different ways. Okay, so first here we can define it as the atoms of different element combine with each other in order to complete their octet. Okay, only hydrogen and helium are there which are going to complete their duplet, because hydrogen and helium, they are present in the first period, and in the first period they have the ability to have only two electron. Okay, that's why hydrogen and helium only complete their duplet. Rest all the element has to complete their octet. It means in the outermost shell we do not have more than 8 electron. It should have either less than 8 or till 8 electron they should have, but not more than 8 electron. So in case of hydrogen, lithium and beryllium, to attain stable nearest noble gas configuration. So here first I will start Cosel and Lewis approaches to chemical bonding, that what they have done. So according to that octet rule, atoms of various element enter into chemical combination so as to attain the configuration of 8 electron in their outermost shell. So Lewis first he has given this as to represent the outermost electron present in their shell. So first we have lithium. Electronic configuration of lithium is what? Atomic number of this one is 3, that is 1s2, 2s1. So because of the presence of one electron in their outermost shell, only one dot is represented. That's why this type of structure is also called to be as electron dot symbol or electron dot structure. Second, for beryllium, electronic configuration of beryllium is 1s2, 2s2. That's why in the outermost shell it has 2 electrons. That's why here 2 dot is shown. For boron we have 3, for carbon we have 4, then for nitrogen we have 5, for oxygen we have 6, and for fluorine we have 7, and neon is already completed, that it has 8 electrons. So on the basis of this one, we can also see how many electrons they need to complete their octet, as lithium has only one electron in their outermost shell, and to complete its octet, because here we are talking about octet rule, so to complete its octet it need 8 electron to be present in the outermost shell. But it would be very difficult for any of the element to gain 7 more electron. That's why lithium is going to lose its 1 electron. Loss of 1 electron is easier as compared to the gain of 7 electron. That's why lithium is going to make what? Lithium is going to make ionic bond. Okay, because here this one is going to have one positive charge. Okay, but if we are talking about nitrogen, nitrogen has 5 electron in their outermost shell. It means nitrogen, for the completion of their octet, it needs 3 more electron. That's why nitrogen is going to gain 3 electron and acquire 3 negative charge. Okay, so these are the symbol. With the help of this symbol, we came to know how many electrons are present in outermost shell. So what are the significance of Lewis symbol? So the number of dot in the Lewis symbol represent the number of valence electron. As I told you, so the common valency of the element can be calculated from the valence electron. With the help of this one, we can calculate the valency also. Because valency is what? Valency means either the electron gain or the electron lose or the share. So because lithium, this one is going to lose 1 electron, beryllium is going to lose 2 electron. So with the help of this one, we may know the valency. But fluorine is going to gain 1 electron because here it has 7 electron in the outermost shell. So valency of fluorine is 1. So with the help of this Lewis dot structure, we can also know the valency. Okay. So the common valency of the element is either equal to the number of dots or 8 minus the number of dot. Okay, now here we have causal in relation to chemical bonding. Drew attention on the following facts. There are certain facts given, that is the highly electronegative halogen and the highly electropositive alkali metal are separated by the noble gases. Okay, means the we know that whenever we are moving from left to right in a period, here the electronegativity increases. So all the element which is present in the 17th group, they are called to be as halogen, and they all are highly negative, electronegative. They have the ability to accept the electron from anyone. Next, the highly electropositive alkali, the one which is present to the very left side in the periodic table, they are called to be as alkali metal. Okay, why? Because they are highly electropositive. So they are different from the noble gases. They combine with one another, then the formation of ionic bond takes place. Second, the formation of negative ion from a halogen atom and a positive ion from an alkali metal atom is associated with the gain or loss of electron by the respective atom. These also we know that whenever any of the halogen is going to gain 1 electron, they are going to form one negative charge, or depends that what number they are going to carry. But because here we are talking about only halogen, so halogen gain 1 electron, then it form one negative ion, and alkali they are going to lose 1 electron, that's why they are going to form one positive ion. The negative and the positive ion thus formed attain noble gas electronic configuration except helium, that helium achieves 2 electron in the outermost shell. Okay. The negative and the positive ion are stabilized by electrostatic force of attraction. So these are all about the ionic bond. Here we have few example also given for the ionic or electrovalent bond. See explanation of this one. Atoms are electrically neutral after the formation of bond in between the positive and negative charge. They become neutral. Like if we are talking about NaCl, here some question may also arise that Na is going to form one positive charge and chlorine is going to form one negative charge. But whenever they are present in their bonded form, they are not able to pass electric current. Why? Because whenever they are present at their bonded form, they do not have any of the ions present. But as the bond that is present between these dissociate, then only they came into their ionic form, and at that time they are able to conduct electricity. Okay, so whenever they are present in the bonded form, they are taken as neutral. Okay, therefore they possess equal number of proton and electron. On losing an electron, the atom become positively charged, since now the number of proton exceed the number of electron. So A, just imagine this A is going here, A is going to have one positive charge plus E, that is electron. B is going to gain one electron, and then it has B negative, that is gain of electron is shown. Here we can take some example like Na. See here Na, the electronic configuration of sodium is 281. So by the loss of one electron, it is going to have one positive charge, and chlorine by the gain of one electron, it is going to have one negative charge, and then it form NaCl. See, here complete transfer of electron takes place. That's why the bond which is formed between these is called to be as electrovalent or ionic bond. Here we have many more example, but student, I am not going to explain all the example because we do not have this much of time. So kindly please go through the structure. Here first you have to show the number of electron with the help of dots, whatever the number of electron present in the outermost shell, or with the help of this arrow, because whenever the complete transfer of electrons takes place, you have to show this arrow because it is one sided. It means the electron is going to the fluorine but not taken from the fluorine. That's why this arrow you have to show. But in case of non-metal, we are not going to show arrow. Okay, so these are for the metal and non-metal. Calcium is taken as metal and fluorine is non-metal. See, this is also some example. Now here we have electrovalency. What do you mean by electrovalency? So the number of electron lost or gained during the formation of electrovalent bond is called to be as electrovalency. Okay, electrovalency, it depends on the both atom. The number of electron either gain or lose is called to be as electrovalency. Like the electrovalency of sodium is 1, electrovalency of chlorine is also 1. Now here we have to see that what are the factors which affect the ionic bond. So first is ionization enthalpy, that we know lower the value of ionization enthalpy, greater is the chance of the ionic bond formation. Means if the ionization enthalpy is very low of any of the element, then it can lose electron very easily. Like alkali metals, they have very low ionization enthalpy. That's why loss of electron is become easier, and then the formation of positive ion takes place. Okay. Electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy is what? It is the amount of energy released whenever any of the electron is added into the outermost shell of any atom. So here, if the higher the electron gain enthalpy, more is the energy released. Okay, and stable will be the negative ion of ionic bond. Like more ion electron gain enthalpy, like halogen, they are having more electron gain enthalpy. Because of that only they can gain electron very easily, and then formation of ionic bond takes place. Next is lattice enthalpy, the energy released when the number of positive and the negative ions combine to form one molecule of ionic compound. We know that lattice means what? Crystal lattice. We know that solid, they are going to means NaCl, it is present in the solid form. Okay, so the 3D structure of these NaCl is called to be as crystal lattice. So whenever any of the crystal is going to form by the combination of positive and negative ions, so whatever the energy is released, that is called to be as lattice energy. Okay, so when the means whenever the formation of 1 mole of ionic compound takes place, that is this lattice energy also affect ionic bond. Do you understood lattice energy? Once again I am going to explain. Lattice energy means all the solid either present in the crystal form, means if we are talking about the solid, they are present in the two form and they form crystals. Okay, so crystal, whenever any type of crystal is formed, so for the formation of crystal lattice, whenever negative and positive ions combine, they release some of the energy. So this release of energy for the formation of 1 mole of ionic compound is called to be as lattice energy. So lattice energy also depends on following factors, that is charge on the ions. What are the charge present? High charge present on the ions, more force of attraction. Then amount of energy is also means related to the amount of energy release. Okay. Second, it also depends on the size of the ion. What are the size of ion? Means different ions are having different size. We know that after the loss of electron, all the cation is going to, the size of the cation is going to reduce, and all the anion after the gain of electron is going to increase. So it also depends on the size of ion. Size of ion is directly related to the internuclear distance, means the distance from one nucleus to the another nucleus, and which is inversely proportional to the force of attraction. Okay, now Till now we have discussed about the ionic bond. Now we have to discuss about covalent bond. As we know that chemical bonding takes place, there are different type of chemical bonding, that is covalent, ionic or coordinate. So electrovalent we have discussed. Now we have to discuss about covalent bond. So octet rule is what? It is the tendency of atom to achieve 8 electron in their outermost shell, that is called to be as octet rule, and this is also called to be as Lewis octet rule. Okay, so for the formation of covalent bond, here covalent bond is formed. How covalent bond is formed? It is formed by the mutual sharing of electron. Okay, that is called as covalent bond. So the Lewis structure can be written for other molecules also, in which the combining atom may be same or different. The important conditions are: each bond is formed as a result of sharing of electron pair between the atoms. Each combining atom contribute at least one electron to the share pair. The combining atom attain the outer shell noble gas configuration as a result of sharing electron. It is not like that only same atoms of the element can combine and then formation of covalent bond takes place. It is not like that. Sometimes the different atoms of the element may also combine, then formation of covalent bond takes place. Second thing is that whatever the number of atom is going to take part for the formation of covalent bond, they all has to contribute at least one of their electron for sharing. Okay, now see here, first we are going to make single covalent bond. Like if we are talking about hydrogen, because hydrogen has to complete its duplet. So hydrogen, how many electron it has in its outermost shell? Hydrogen has only one electron in its outermost shell. That's why only one dot is shown. And because they both are going to share the electron and both is able to complete its duplet, that's why this overlapping structure is shown. We know that for non-metals we are making this type of overlap structure. So here two hydrogen combine, then formation of H2 takes place, that is taken as molecule. But in case of H2O, here it is a compound in which two hydrogen and one oxygen is going to participate. First you have to put the number of electron present in the outermost shell. So for oxygen we have 6 electron, for hydrogen we have 1 electron. So these 6 electron, oxygen has to complete 8 electron, means only these electron is oxygen has the tendency to make double bond. So oxygen is going to share its electron with hydrogen, 2 hydrogen, because one hydrogen is not able to give 2 electron. That's why oxygen is going to take one from one hydrogen and another from another hydrogen, and in return hydrogen will also get one from oxygen. Both the hydrogen is going to get one from oxygen. In that they both get complete their duplet or octet. Okay, same we have for carbon tetrachloride, in which carbon it has 4 electron in its outermost shell, and chlorine it has 7 electron in its outermost shell. So chlorine need to take 1 electron only, but carbon has to take 4 or share 4. That's why carbon is going to combine with 4 chlorine. That's why because of that carbon is able to complete octet of 4 chlorine, and 4 chlorine in combination is able to complete the octet of 1 carbon, and they are going to get they are going to form one compound that is called as carbon tetrachloride, that is CCl4. Here whatever the structure of bond is formed, that is single bond, because for covalent bond we may have single bond or multiple bond. Multiple bond may be double or triple. So if the electron pair are shared by two atoms, the bond formed is called as double bond. Okay, whereas when the atom share 3 electron pair, the bond is called triple or covalent bond. Now see here we are having examples of double bond in which oxygen combine with itself to form O2. We know oxygen mostly present in the form of O2. So oxygen combine with itself by making double bond. Here nitrogen it has the ability to make triple bond with itself. So nitrogen make triple bond with itself, then its octet is also get completed. Now covalency, like electrovalency, we need to know about the covalency. The covalency of an atom may be defined as the number of electron which its atom contribute for sharing, while formation of covalent bond is called to be as covalency. Okay, the number of electron which is contributed by any of the atom for the sharing of electron, okay, or for the formation of bond is called to be as covalence. Like chlorine is going to make single bond, or chlorine is going to gain only one electron. Okay, that's why the covalency of chlorine is 1. Oxygen, here oxygen is going to make the 2 bond, so that's why covalency of oxygen is 2. For nitrogen it is 3. 3 electron is participating in the formation of bond, that's why it is the covalency is 3. Means whatever the number of electron take part for the formation of bond is called to be as covalency. Now here we have simple representation of this Lewis structure. See, for hydrogen, for oxygen. We also know that oxygen can also form O3, that is ozone. Because but see the structure of this one, that O is combined with another O with double bond, but here the middle O is combined with another oxygen with single bond. So how do we know that what type of charges are going to present on what oxygen, which oxygen? So these we came to know with the help of formal charges that we will do in the next class. Okay, so because oxygen which is combined with a single bond, this oxygen is incomplete, the octet of this one is not completed, that's why this will be having negative charge. And the above one, oxygen never formed triple bond, but here oxygen made triple bond, that's why it is also not in the stable form. That's why ozone is not taken as the stable form. Ozone can easily convert into the O2 by the release of one oxygen, which help in the oxidation process. Okay, see the structure of NF3, in which nitrogen has 5 electron in its outermost shell. 3 is busy for making the bond with fluorine, and 2 is taken as the lone pair. Students, lone pair means for the electron, like here we have number of electron. For hydrogen we do not have any lone pair, because hydrogen has one electron which is busy in formation of bond. So the electron which participate in the formation of bond is called to be as bond pair, but the electron which do not take part in the formation of bond is called to be as lone pair of electron. So see, here we have structure like CO3, that is structure of carbonate, it is having two negative charge. Why it has two negative charge? Because once again I will tell you, because see here carbon is double bonded with oxygen, but two of the oxygen, we know that oxygen is always making double bond, but here two oxygen is combined with only single oxygen. So these two oxygen will have one negative charge, that's why it has two negative charge all total. How do we came to know? That we will do with the help of formal charges. We can take out the charges which is present in atoms. Okay, so for today we have this much only, rest of the thing we will do in the next class. Students, if you will be getting any doubt related to today's session, then please you can message me or you can directly call me in my in my number. Okay, thank you so much for hearing me.